Flash to Campbell. Campbell on the outside and try time to the skipper. Tyler Campbell. Cut pass out to Stoward. Right foot, left foot, try. Reed Stoward in full flight. Inside to Campbell. Tyler Campbell.
Media Vintage Sports Network presents Play-by-Play Podcast with Jordan Hughes. Alrighty, welcome in Play-by-Play Podcast with you. We've done the weekend review. We're back with you for our weekend preview for Super Rugby Pacific. It's Friday afternoon. The Reds and the Chiefs are about to kick off. We're going to watch along as we do our picks and preview. Jordan Hughes with you alongside Jordan Lanak and Tyler Campbell. Gents, good to see you, TC. How are you?
I'm in a great mood, mate.
You are. You are.
Cross country done today.
Nice.
Last day of school. Get the next 17 days off work. Obviously, be a little bits of work here and there to make sure I'm ready for next term. But yeah, it's nice to have a 17 sort of day holiday in mid-term with Easter at the back end of it, so get that extra public holiday.
How many kids did you eat in cross country?
Did I eat?
Beat.
I actually was the guy that was in charge of stamps, so I went halfway up to make sure they got their stamps on their way back, so there was no cheaters, and would run back with them and push them through the gate. But no, it was I didn't actually beat them because I got to the gate where there was like 200 to go and they had to finish by themselves. It's a little bit of running, but good fun, you know. Cross country is always a bit of good school spirit. A lot of walkers though.
Yeah, there was a few
A
walkers.
lot of walkers.
I was a walker.
That makes sense. Anyway, Jordy Lanak, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
Big day on the physio tools, a bit of medical students
It was,
interaction going on.
It was, yeah. I got a day with the med students.
There we go.
Figured out what they know and don't know.
Beautiful.
Interesting.
Love when our worlds collide.
Yeah.
So the Reds and the Chiefs about to start right now. Just confirming, boys, you two have got Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover. I've gone Chiefs to win, Reds to cover. Final thoughts on this one before we get moving?
I reckon it's going to be a cracker.
Yep.
Obviously, looking at the conditions, it is a little bit wet. Would probably favours. I know the Reds got a good pack, but I actually think it favours the Chiefs. I think they're a bit more accustomed to the wet, especially in Hamilton. And Chiefs, I think the cover, they're just strong at home. The cowbells will be ringing, and they sort of give you an extra leg, the old cowbells.
1v2. Before we get started, let's give me your first try scorer. Let's make it a bit interesting here. What do you got? Have a think. I'll get a start. You're going to go your man?
No, you go.
No, you go. That's right. You go.
Oh, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm going to go... I bet on Lewa Ricardo here, but I'm actually backing a Brody McAllister off the back of a Chiefs maul. I reckon their forwards are going to want to make a statement. A lot of talk about the Reds pack.
Lovely. Jordy?
First try scorer, I'm going to go with Fraser. I was going to say the man himself playing his 100th, but I think watching the conditions now, it's going to be something tight. So, yeah.
Lovely. I'll go Filippo Dalgunu, pick and drive from close quarters.
I do think Shooter scores today, though.
Yeah, surely 100th
In
game.
his 100th.
Yeah,
be a good hucker after the game, too. Love the Chiefs hucker.
Did you ever play with him, against him in your time?
Shooter?
Yeah.
Yep, played against him when he was at Harbour. Think I might have played a Chiefs Deval game with him, but we also grew up playing a lot of touch together.
There you go.
So Harbour under 13s, lost the grand final in a drop off. Just putting it out there. Still hurts to this day.
There we go. So, yeah, that's getting started. We'll move on to our sort of picks and preview for the weekend. Tomorrow, boys, Moana Pacifica, $1.72. The Waratahs, $2.05. The Lions, 1.5. Jaw goes out. Almost must win for the Tars, I'd say. Suali's gone back to 15. Kellaway on the wing. Thoughts?
I actually don't like, I know you guys talked about it, I actually don't like the Suali'i to 15.
You were 13.
I think I'm a 13 preference solely because of his size and he's actually good tackler, good defensively. At 15, he's good under the high ball, but I don't think he has that kicking game, especially in this wet, to put a bit of pressure on Moana. Obviously an athlete and can kick, but I don't think he's technically sound there yet. Which will be interesting come Wallabies where they see him, because I still think Tom Wright's the guy.
Yeah.
So putting him at 15, I think 13's a position for him to fight for, because Leonard Cattell played well at 12. So I just don't see what the thought process is around that. If we're thinking Wallabies, maybe for the Tars at the moment, I do understand it with the injuries they have.
Yeah, and obviously Keller on the wing too. He's normally at 15. Jordy, what do you make of this?
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to experiment with what they're doing, but I think we spoke about it on Monday. I like him at 15, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yep.
But yeah, I think having Kellaway on the wing is really not that's not a takeaway from them putting him there to accommodate Suali'i, but yeah, I just think they're going to probably try and see how it works, and I think they're kind of in a spot where they're going to have to do something. So maybe this is the combo that they're trying to see if that's working with those two in the back three at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. The Tars looking for their first away win of the season. They've been very poor so far. Obviously, the Moana, this is a bit of a letdown spot, I think. Obviously, the highs of last week, Crusaders, can they back up and do it again? How do we see it playing out, boys?
I think the Tars get up.
Yep.
The Moana are going to be riding off a high, but I think the Tars need that away win. I think the Tars are more likely to be a final side than Moana is. I think there's a bit more play there, but look, I think it can go either way. I obviously can't really say they cover the line there when it's a 1.5. So I'll go.
If the Tars win, obviously they do.
Yeah.
So
I'll go Tars to win and obviously cover the line if that's the case.
lovely. Jordy.
I'm going to go Moana. I know they had a big win last week, but I think being in New Zealand, we know how the Tars have been travelling on away games. Again, with that line so small, it doesn't really matter what's going to go on, but I think the Moana are just going to hang on, grit it out.
Lovely. So the Waratahs is the only side Moana has a winning record over in their time, so they'll be confident. I think Moana just falls short, let down spot for me. Waratahs 1-12. How's the total? 66.5. So many points.
That's a lot of
Surely,
Yeah.
no.
I understand it though. If you look at Moana's previous games,
Yeah.
they've all been very high scoring. Also, just watching this, surely push over more here.
Yeah.
Come on, I've backed Brody McAllister.
Have they looked at the weather when
Well, you
putting
watch
these
that.
points?
It will change. This is from yesterday. Maybe it's moved since then.
Okay.
But the Chiefs on the attack inside the 22 as we look to keep things moving here. Now we go to Fiji boys. The Drua 2.45. The Crusaders $1.50. The Lions 5.5. Reese and Springer back in. Still no Havili. And they've gone Lamani and Armstrong Ravula in the halves again, swapping it around for the Drua.
This is an interesting one because I don't think this is a very strong Crusaders team. Good to see Sevi Reese get a run back at 13. I don't think he's played there for a few years. He did play, I think he played a game there when I was back at Waikato and played a bit of club rugby there too. And obviously he's dangerous wherever he is on the field with his work rate and everything. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then, we go, Chiefs have just scored.
Luke Jacobson.
Luke Jacobson, first try scorer.
Wow.
There we go.
But yeah, I just think Fiji get the stun at home. I just think there's a lot of players out for the Crusaders this week.
Yep. They've won the last 10 of 12 at home. They are an absolute fortress there. How do you see it playing out, Jord?
Yeah, kind of much the same. Just having a look at the team lists. As Tyler just said, Crusaders are pretty short-staffed. Obviously, Will Jordan at the back there is going to control it pretty well, and we'll probably see some stuff from him. But yeah, I think Fiji is not somewhere that any of the teams want to be playing them. So yeah, back them in.
There we go. Yeah, I'll join you. Fiji win, Fiji cover, obviously. I like Ravel Talmunda for a try as well. Now, we go to the New Zealand Derby. The Blues, $1.45. The Hurricanes, $2.60. The Lions, 5.5. Bowden Barrett returns is the big news. Last time they met in round 3 was 33-29. It's literally the only win the Blues have got this season at Eden Park. I'll start with you, Jord.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think having a look at the teams really quickly, looking at those names on paper for the Blues, like you should be able to back it off that, but contrasting that with the performances they put out this year and how they've been tracking, it's not a sure thing as it probably would have been in the past. Kane's looking solid as always. Ruben Love at the back again. Balin Sullivan. What was the line again?
5.5. Blues are favourite
Blues a favourite.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to back him. Back him and cover it.
Blues win, get it done.
Yep.
Need a dub. Tyler, thoughts on this?
Obviously, look, it was just discussed but must win for the Blues. And I think it's now or never for them to make that push. And very similar to where the Crusaders were last year at this sort of point of the season, and they couldn't get it done. So I think Blues win this, but I think Hurricanes cover the line. And a reason for that is it's hard to go against the Hurricanes, but I am because of how well they played last week.
Yeah.
I think their forwards coming back in. Asafo Moore was strong. Tyrell Lumax is starting to find form again after missing the first sort of few rounds. Xavier Numia has been unreal in that front row. He's probably been their best. And obviously their back row, like Duplessis, Karifi, Braden Uwasi, Peter Lakai, like all guys that have been playing really good footy. But I have to go for the Blues because I think there's just a bit more in this game for them. They're playing for a lot more than the Hurricanes are. So we'll give them the nod there. And yeah, but I think Hurricanes stay within the 5.5. Close game.
Cam Roygar leading the competition in try assist. He's been carving up. Is he your All Blacks 9?
Oh, easily.
He's by a long mile.
Love Tezzy. Like obviously he's a real good halfback, but
Yep.
just that you look at that French game against DuPont last year, like he actually outplayed him. And on top of that, I just think Cam Roygaard's skills have improved so much. I think having those couple of years or that year under Aaron Smith,
Yep.
You can see that this sort of work rate and everything he's done on his passing, on his box kicks is starting to show through. But then on top of that, we know how the X factor he has as a runner, how quick he is, how strong he is. So, real interesting to see how it carries on. But I think, he's our All Blacks 9 at the moment.
There we go. I'll go Hurricanes win, Hurricanes cover, Blues misery to continue. All right, let's go to the Force and the Highlanders out west. $1.57 the Force. The Highlanders $2.30. The Lions $2.50. Both sides pretty much do or die at this point for these two sides, needing a win desperately. The Force won the last 6 of 8 at home. Tizano scored 10 tries this season. The Land has been so close this year. They've lost 4 games by less than 10 points. Is this going to be a bit of a shootout, you think, Jord?
Yeah, I think it'll be tight. I think the fact that Carlo Tizano is scoring as many tries as he is this season against any team is dangerous. I think it just kind of seconds the fact that how the Landers have been going. Plus, you're going to have to travel to Perth to play them. I just see the Force actually getting up and putting on quite a dominant performance as well.
There we go. Tyler?
Yeah, I think the Landers get this done.
Yeah.
I think Tangitau goes over for a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it's going to be a close game and high scoring if it's dry in Perth.
Yeah.
I think both teams sort of aren't the best defensively, but they're also two teams we probably didn't expect to be this far up the ladder at this point of the season. I thought the Force let one slip away last week. I think they were the better team, but let the Reds sort of win that game. So, got to go off the Landers though, and I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm expecting like a 38-35 kind of game.
Yeah. I think
in favour of the Landers.
Okay, there we go. I think it's 1-12 either way. I'll go the over for sure, and I'll go Force to win in a close one. I'll take the minus at 2.5 as well. All right, there we go. That's sort of a quick fire preview for the weekend, boys. Last week we were talking about the tipping. It was poor from all of us, I think. What did we say, Ian? Who?
Is there a bad luck person that's just joined the podcast or something?
Yeah, this guy.
Was it 4 and 5s?
Yeah. He's you bring us down, mate. What's going on?
I don't care. I'm beating Tyler.
Yeah, facts. There we go.
Oh, no, you missed the first
Well,
two
he
rounds.
also called you slow on Monday. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
No, I didn't
did
call
hear
him
that.
slow. I didn't call him slow. I just didn't call him fast.
Just, George likes to throw it out, but couldn't see him making line breaks, unfortunately.
I don't have to. Pass it to people like you to do it for me.
There we go.
Work smarter, not harder.
Love it. All right,
Where was
boys.
the inside support, mate? Where was the inside support?
Oh, it was a long way inside. It was there. It was just a long way inside.
All right, bit of news, boys. We'll sort of wrap things up. Noah Lolesio came out today. 1-year deal with Japan next year. I'm assuming he'll be trying to come back for the World Cup. Thoughts on this and how they play it this year?
He still plays the Lions.
Cabby still pick him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think he's our best 10. I think Ben Donaldson's 2. And I honestly don't know who 3 is. I know you guys talked about Tommy Liner. I'm still not sold on Tommy Liner.
Yeah. Defensively, I'm not sold.
Defensively,
I think that's
and
why he's not playing tonight.
Test level rugby, you can't be
A speed bump.
a speed bump.
You can't hide either.
We saw it with someone like Quaid. Quaid was the best player in Super Rugby, got to test level, and you couldn't hide someone like that, and it really sort of affected the Wallabies at times.
He defended at 15 for years.
Yeah, and that just shows you the sort of issues that go on with not being able to tackle at that level, or not being the best defender. I shouldn't say can't tackle, but not being a dominant defender at that level. So, I think they go with Noah this year, but I understand why he's gone to Japan.
Yeah, go get the cash for sure.
Unfortunately, there's not huge amounts of money here, and you only have a short span. I've said it before, like you've got a 10, maybe max 15-year career sort of window to make as much money as you can before you retire and set yourself up for life.
Yeah.
So if you can take those 800, 900K deals, you've just got to take them with both hands, and we've already seen them go to somewhere like France and actually come back better.
Yeah.
So we could get the same sort of vibe from there coming into a World Cup. It'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out.
It'll just be the 1 year, 2026, come back, home World Cup, and then maybe a long-term deal in Australia. But the interesting was, he's on, just what the rumours are, apparently he's on 450 now, and he wanted a sort of 600 plus from RA. That was what he wanted, and they've said no. But I would have thought chief playmaker, the number 10, I would have thought he would demand that sort of money. Are you surprised by that number or not?
I don't know how true the numbers are.
Yeah.
Numbers.
That's just what I was reading.
Look, it's that media speculation that you never actually know the true story, and they might have thrown it out there to make him look bad because he's leaving.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because you think he'd be 800, 900 plus in Japan.
No.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Wallabies 10 for the last couple of years. He's at least 800. Even if it's 700, that's more than
To go play what?
400. That's 300K difference. And people are like, oh, you're making heaps of money. That's a lot.
It's huge.
It fucking ends up being
double
a lot.
of what
Yeah.
a lot of people make it.
Yeah.
Go, what, they play 15 games or something over in Japan? Like, it's
Yeah.
not like it's a crazy season.
300K is 3 years of living for most people.
Yeah. It was 100%.
So like,
Two weekends for you.
yeah. Fucking money
I
bags.
reckon, and hear me out. I love the fact that, I know we were just talking about how the media can influence what people think about salaries and stuff. I almost reckon we take a page out of the NFL books where you know exactly what every player is on.
They announce what the deal is.
Yeah,
from the
I reckon
get-go.
it would make it
Yeah.
so much, like, obviously a lot of people would be upset, but at the same time, like, from an outsider looking in, especially when people are kind of not a rugby person and they kind of decide, or league or AFL or rugby, whatever, like they want to get into a sport. If I was sitting in there at home and I didn't have a background in sport and I knew what every player was getting paid to play this game versus NRL is a lot more open with what they pay players,
Yeah.
you can make that comparison a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I think as well, like if boys come out and they do switches like this, it makes a lot of people understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Because it stops speculating.
Yeah,
Going, oh,
so I
he's
feel
on
like
this, on that.
a lot of people are like, oh, he's a Wallabies 10, he's like a professional athlete. They think automatically, well, my head goes to like the US numbers divided by like 10, but we are so far below that and so different. So I think it'd be a really fun thing to do.
So like a publicly listed company where they have to, all the staff members have to
Yeah.
and the salaries.
Yeah.
How would you like that, mate?
My biggest issue with it is people expect this overarching loyalty from players.
Yeah.
Okay, and it doesn't matter what the sport is, NBA, rugby, NFL, like, you know, we could throw all the sports out there. Why would you be loyal to someone who may not be loyal to you? All right, NBA, and that's a bit different because obviously they can trade you at any time. You can't do that in rugby. But they might decide at the end of the year, end of your contract, you've stayed loyal to them for 5, 6, 10 years. And then they go, no, we don't want you. We want to pay you less because we actually want to build our juniors.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, well, hang on, I've just given you guys 5, 6 years of my life and you don't have the decency to be loyal to me. So loyalty for me goes two ways, and I don't think we have that in our sport, and people don't understand that. And you look at someone like Cherry Evans.
Yeah.
Prime example in the media right now is getting roasted and was he getting booed on the weekend?
Really?
In the Manly game? Or like there was a bit of hostility there?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on, this guy's given you 12,
He's done nothing
maybe
wrong.
more.
No. Yeah.
He's given Manly everything of his career, all his prime, and he just wants one more shot at a premiership and probably wants to start setting up his family as his kids get to sort of that school level where he wants them to sort of grow up, and people don't understand that. It's like, well, hang on, he gave Manly a chance to match
Yeah,
it.
they didn't give him a deal.
They didn't give them what they wanted.
Imagine if you're like an accountant or someone and you're like, oh no, I'm jumping firms because they've paid me an extra 50 grand. You'd be getting
one bet
pats on the
tonight.
back
But
for
people,
everybody.
exactly right. No one says boo.
I know.
But in this world, they go, fuck.
It's like,
what's
yeah,
going on?
you're a traitor.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy sports fans.
It just pisses me off.
Yeah. I think
So-
well said.
I say fair enough. If no one wants to go earn more money overseas, do it.
Go do it. Yeah.
And if someone stays loyal, good
for
on
them.
that person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's their lives and they're trying to set themselves up to make sure their future is in a stable place. Because for some boys, like, they got to get on the tools after this.
Yeah.
And as someone who's coming to the sort of, I wouldn't say back end of my career, but at that
I would.
28, yeah, we probably are back end, to be fair. You know, I'm on, like, I've probably got 3 or 4 years left, maybe 2 of actual competitive footy. I wake up in the morning, my body's fucked.
Yeah.
I know I've had a few surgeries. And it's like, okay, these people are going to be saying they're playing 15 years of professional rugby.
Yeah.
Their body's going to be broken, and you expect them to go and work a 9 to 5 on the tools after bashing their body for years. Like, of course, they're going to try and earn money to limit being into that role, giving them something a bit easier to do, setting up a business, anything like that, where they can set themselves up and be in a better position later on in life. Because there's a lot of former rugby players out there that we see that are really struggling
There's a
or
lot.
bankrupt because they can't go work on the tools.
Yeah.
Their shoulder they can't lift above, the sort of 90-degree mark. So I understand why players do it.
And as you said, you probably come back a better player after all that. So there we go. On that same vein, big news today as well. Jordy Petaia signed a 3-year deal with the LA Chargers.
3 years.
3-year deal, yeah. If they, pretty sure. And he's going as a tight end too.
That shocked me.
Yeah, I wanted to
And
get
not
to
like not shocked me that he got signed. Shocked me it came through as a tight end because he's a small tight end. Like, he's obviously just going to be a receiving tight end.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be involved much in the run game. I don't think he'll be involved much this upcoming season.
Yeah.
I think it's the year after we might start to see him a bit more. But obviously got all the athletic traits. He's good in the air. Pretty good footwork. Not sure what his route running is going to be like, obviously, because he's hasn't actually played that much out there. So yeah, interesting to see that was their sort of go-to with that.
The funny thing is, like, I think if he makes the 53-man roster, his salary will be up to $2 million a year for the 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
And then straight away, he's the highest paid rugby player. Straight away.
Where was his loyalty to the...
Well, mate, good on him. But like, isn't it crazy? He's no one in the NFL, automatically multi-millionaire. And so he could, if he makes a $6 million for the 3 years, he's already way higher than Suolii's contract. It's just unbelievable. It shows you the money in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's just astronomical.
And that, like, what he's on is a fraction of what other big boys are on.
Oh, he's on a fucking practice squad and he's doing that.
I know.
And it's pretty funny that it's not just that $2 million salary.
Oh, no.
It'll be everything else.
He's going to become, if he starts playing, look at Jordan Malata.
Mm.
Like, he's a massive Aussie name now. Stephen Adams for New Zealand in the NBA. Like, it gives you that brand.
Point of
You become a
difference,
brand. And then you can start doing all these different things that are going to help you succeed in life. Like, I'd love to know the deals Jordan Malata has.
Oh, mate.
He's obviously loved in Philly too. Love his
Imagine all
Christmas
the
songs.
sponsorship deals and endorsements, like, mate.
And that's what
he's-
Jordy's going to get.
Yeah.
I can tell you now, Aussie accent, light-skinned man.
Yep.
The girls are going to be loving him there.
And if he starts to carve up as well.
Sorry, yeah. Like I'm not saying this is making out to be like a bit of an object, but
Piece of meat.
he's going to be marketable.
He's the pitcher, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's the difference. You don't really get that in rugby. You get a little bit like D-Mac got a bit of marketability about him in rugby, but nothing in the sense of what NFL is to the
On
world.
that global scale too.
Yeah.
I hope he absolutely carves up. Are you sort of confident he can make this 53? I guess it's hard to tell now, but
I back him.
Yeah.
I think he's got the ability to do it. Obviously, at a team like the Chargers, he's going to be well coached too. Is it Jim Harbour?
Yep.
I know it's one of them. Like, he's obviously a good guy and he knows what he wants and what he wants from his players. So it's a pretty hard one because they're actually a very dominant running team. Harbourers in general, both are coaches that love to run the pill. So, yeah. But interested to see how that all goes.
Yeah.
Especially if someone that won't be able to block.
yeah, anyway, time will tell. So it's good to see Jordy Petaia doing his thing. Another news I saw, I want to get your take on this. Qatar, UAE and Saudi Arabia looking to bid for the 2035 and 2039 World Cups. Obviously, there's big money in the Middle East.
Fucking do it.
Obviously, there is the alcohol aspect. It would be a dry World Cup because there is no...
Do it.
They don't do it. Where do you sit on this, Tyler?
I'm just saying, like, if we get an opportunity to get our sport in a place like that has fucking truckloads of money, look at the soccer.
Yeah.
Right, it's just going to be, I think, beneficial for the game in general. Obviously, the tourism and stuff of the no alcohol kind of sucks. But if someone has been to Dubai, it's not that hard.
And therefore, it's just in the stadium. So there's going to be precincts around. You can still drink. It's just, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's loopholes. I think.
That's fine. Well, that's like that's like Premier League matches now in soccer.
Is it? Yeah.
You can't drink in stadiums there because people riot.
True. Because in the Soccer World Cup they had a few years ago, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
there was some
Yeah,
alcohol
yeah,
outside
they were all
or
drinking.
something.
Yeah. You couldn't take anything in.
we
Just in
were-
certain,
Get outside.
yeah, I think that's...
we were in Dubai as that was happening. And a lot of people were in Dubai drinking and flying in and out to games.
Right, okay.
So obviously there's an easy way to kind of do it. But I just think that's a market that if you tap into, Matty Fezler, by the way,
The Fez.
Fez is over. I think that's a market, if you tap into it, you can really help our game grow.
Yeah.
And
100%.
you're going to give us a solid foundation. World Rugby will earn a lot of money that they can sort of disperse, obviously, between the big nations, but then disperse among the other nations that are just starting to grow and help the development of the game and make our World Cup bigger. Like, we're already growing. Imagine if we can grow again. Imagine if we can be like the Soccer World Cup.
Yeah. And you know, the money in the Middle East and they wanting to invest in sports, not going to go away. They want to get involved and they'll find their voice, I'm sure. So we're both happy to see it. Jordan, you like it?
Yeah, I mean, if it's run the way that we've just said it will be, I don't see any issues with it because I don't really see as well like those big events like the Rugby World Cup. It doesn't have that aggressive drinking culture in it, like in the games itself. Like people want to go and actually watch the rugby, like as versus if you go to other big sporting things, like the drinking in the game is such a big part of it. And as Tyler said, if we can get a bit of money out of it as well to redisperse back to probably those lower tier nations and develop them back up, I think it's a really good thing.
Helps the game. Only thing is obviously the heat. So there could be
they'd have to
it'd be a
figure it
December start for a January final.
But also, like they've
like
got
that,
the money to probably aircon the stadium.
Well, they did for the soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how they'd play it. And obviously that does affect the whole world calendar, but I'm sure they'd find a way. But it's not bad. Little December World Cup kicking off. That'd be pretty good. New Year's Eve over in Saudi Arabia. Look out.
Wild.
If I had the money, I'd go to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you be happy to go as a
I would
fan?
go.
Yeah.
I would go one to see that part of the world.
Because I'd never go there otherwise.
No.
You know what I mean?
Like I've been to Dubai. I've done like Northern Africa and stuff like that, but never ventured that far in, purely because I don't have anything to do there.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the money to go there and enjoy the time I'm going to have. Because obviously, if you want to live at lush,
You got to spend the dosh.
yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's interesting how that pans out. A couple of things for us. I want to get your take on this. April Fool's jokes. Seen a lot of stuff on me this week. Do we like them? Do we don't? I'm a bit fucking old. I don't really love it.
I was pretty clicked onto it.
Yeah.
Like I managed, when you look in your phone and you're like, oh fuck, it's April 1st.
Yeah.
And the first thing I saw was Richie Mo'unga signed with the Warriors. I was like, oh, here we go. And then it just, it comes throughout the day and you're going, what are these actually true? I had to sort of check my Bleacher Report,
Yep.
like especially when it comes to some of the American stuff, to actually see what was going on.
Quite good, but signed the Hurricane, saw that one floating about. Apparently, Quaid posted, he's like, guys, my phone's blowing up.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think I started to get confused when it was like yesterday and today, and I'm still getting those posts come up today. And my brain's already switched off from April Fool's, and I'm like, fucking no way.
What's going on?
Mine was the NFL ones because they all come through on the 2nd.
The day later.
Yeah.
Because they're a day later than us. And I'm going, hang on. Like it's April 2nd. Are people still doing this?
I don't know. I liked it. I saw one of Swaliti go up to one of the coaches at the TARS and be like, hey, just letting you know, like, Bruce is getting contact. Blah,
That
blah,
was
blah.
good content.
I thought that was good crack.
Yeah.
And we mentioned it last week with Carlo Tizzano being a bit of a figure and like a character in rugby. And I think a few of those posts really really highlighted some of the characters that we do have.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not going to be a regular thing, but I think little things like that are good for a bit of branding, bit of popularity, and just a bit of like humor. Like it takes some of the heat off of the seriousness of everything going on. Like at the end of the day, it's a game.
Yep.
You see the Bulldogs one
No.
with Bronson Cherry?
No, what did you do?
They brought him into like the media room and said he had a
the
sponsorship
turkey?
and said like these guys want to pay for you to go to Turkey.
No
and,
way.
and he goes, oh, isn't it like a 6-month recovery? Like, oh, so you're quite knowledgeable on the situation. Like they just roasted him. And then
Stitch up.
and he was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then as he was leaving, they like showed him the camera and he goes, fuck. Just it was pretty funny to see. But I like that stuff because again, those videos blow up,
Yeah, it's good numbers.
bring
Engagement.
bring media, bring fans and people into the game. So it's good to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
There we go. We spoke about a bit on Monday, but Hong Kong Sevens into Singapore Sevens this weekend. Any thoughts around that?
I've been pretty disengaged by the sevens.
Yeah.
Like, just being 100% honest, compared to other years, I've probably been a bit more into the sevens. But as I said, the big names don't really play anymore. Like, it's good to see the young talent here and there, but you don't get the sort of rugby boys slotting in and out of tournaments, or it's just such a specialist sport now that I feel like it's lost a bit of an aura about it.
Yeah. The Hong Kong, the South Stand was still pumping, I thought.
New stadium too.
Yeah,
looked nice.
Bloody good. So I think it starts tonight too, Singapore. And it's good as we were saying last week, good to see Saji. He's
He's doing well.
He's the main man that side,
Yeah.
which is good to see.
Only took him like 8 years to finally get a crack.
Yeah, took him that time. Anywho, and then you probably appreciate this. NFL taking Christmas again. They've got 3 games this year. You know, of that battle of NFL and NBA. They've got 3 games now.
Interesting to see them competing against each other. I feel like they actually work together and did different things because NFL does Thanksgiving obviously as well. I don't think the NBA does.
Because NBA was always Christmas. That was their thing.
Yeah.
NFL was, nah, that's mine now, taking over.
So it's actually interesting to see them compete,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So you'd think they'd probably more sort of work out together so who gets more money, like so they can share the money. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Thoughts? Any thoughts?
No way.
No thoughts. Nice. And then finally, I just want to get your take on this, just for my own sort of preference. So you know the UFL? USL is like the NFL's sort of B comp, I guess. It started this week, and ESPN's broadcasting, and so they've got the commentators in the booth, and then they cross over to their sports gambling expert on the feed. So they go over to some chick talking about the odds and stuff. Obviously, everyone's got an opinion on this. How do you sit on seeing that? See the gambling odds, have a specials analyst talking about it in game. Are you pro, against? Where do you sit? Is that the future? Against it?
Well,
we were just talking about this with the stand coverage.
Yeah. It's becoming very prevalent in broadcast.
I don't hate it.
I think at the end of the day, it's a
Doesn't
business
encourage
decision.
It does encourage the gambling, but at the same time, how much are these betting agencies paying to get someone up
Yeah.
there and their logo?
Oh, it's big
Like,
money.
let's say you've got, like, an NRL game and you've got half of Australia watching it. Well, why wouldn't you want that in there and capitalise on it and earn shitloads of money?
Well, that's why
and
Sportsbet
it goes
pay
back
these
to
big
the
rights.
game.
Yeah, I just wonder, because obviously we're saying before, New Zealand, they have TAB, they talk about the Super Rugby rights, whereas in Australia we don't have that. We don't do it. I just thought it interesting where they had a full analyst in the booth talking about this is the line, this is the point spread, blah, blah, blah. Is the future?
Love it or hate it, it's the future of the game.
Yeah.
But
You just said
it's also not a new thing. Like obviously online
It
betting.
is for in-game.
Online betting, no, but I'm talking about the whole like things that we don't really want to encourage the normal population to do. But you look back at the NRL 20, 30 years ago, they're all sponsored by cigarette brands and beer companies. So getting big money from industries that aren't necessarily aligning with our sports values isn't a new issue that we need to raise. Like if they're capitalizing on putting big money into the game and they can redistribute those funds back to the clubs and redeveloping stadiums and getting grassroots footy, like rugby up and running, like all to 'em.
That's where it comes in.
Yeah.
Jordy's just nailed it on the head. Where's the money going?
Yeah.
though?
Well,
If the money starts going back to paying the higher end players more, well, no, we're not going to grow our game. If that makes sense. Like, obviously, they probably deserve more if there is more money coming in.
Well, Sportsbet, for example, they pay the NRL to do that.
Yeah.
That's where the money goes. But I'm not sure how they distribute
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but then where does that?
Yeah, in their back pocket.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
NRL and rugby league is way ahead of where we're at. And
Yeah.
I've witnessed it firsthand on Wednesday. I had to do now a level 1 league coach, just throwing it out there.
What am I?
Had to go do my league coaching course, and just the sort of I can't think of the word right now, but like the way they ran their program,
bit of bum. How good.
the way they ran their program, the way they sort of get their coaches up to knowledge, the way they encourage, okay, it should be 50% play, 50% drills, like all these different things, is so far ahead of the stuff I've seen in rugby.
Really, yeah.
And I was sitting there going, fuck, this is why this game has higher participation. This is why this game sort of is developing at a faster rate than rugby union is in Australia.
Yep. There we go. Yeah, like Rugby Australia, for example, I don't know why we don't have a gambling sponsor with, like, they're just against it, but we should have that. It wants some money. We're cash strapped.
Easy money to
Like, get a 365 a Ladbrokes, then you have your... Anyway, but yeah, I thought I'd get your take. I knew you had an opinion on that. Lovely, boys. Finally, my final thoughts. It's your bye week in round 2, bit of a weird one. How are we spending it? How's the week been? Training pretty hard, are they?
Yeah, the boys went hard in training this week.
Big day yesterday.
Yeah, but also I'm glad we did it. Like I've sat out of a lot. Not gonna sit and say I did stuff. A bit sore still, but yeah, I don't think we've really needed a break yet.
Yeah,
so
it's a weird one.
we may as well get that working while we can. And then in terms of the weekend, we're gonna go down and support the girls.
Yep.
And the women's rugby on this weekend. Seems to be getting a bit of heat from the girls at the moment about us not putting our hand up. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to get down and support what they're doing and just show a bit of love back to the women's QPR or whatever they've rebranded it as.
Yep. Don't get Tyler started on that.
But yeah, so cruisy one, I think.
Lovely.
For me.
How you been, mate? Good week? How's the body post Saturday last week?
Little couple of niggles here and there, but
Yeah,
as you'd expect from the amount of contact we probably got through in that game.
Yeah.
But no, it was obviously a good week, and you know the nature of how our draws sort of rolled out. We play next week, and then we get a bye again. So I think that
Easter,
bye, or probably that Tuesday, I think we'll probably look to have a rest and then reset again on the Thursday.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just sort of, I think taking a session off this week or taking 2 sessions off probably would have stumped our growth and how much we've grown in the last sort of month in particular, now that we're actually playing games of footy.
Yep.
So we get some learnings from the weekend, we get to a chance to sort of adapt and I guess work on those things that we need to change, and then we go into next week ready to go, ready to sort of go into a big one against East.
Yeah, at
they're
home
looking,
too.
they're looking like a good squad as well, and big squad, and I think we probably just needed a couple of tweaks if we want to actually be competitive against them at home and hopefully come away with a win.
I love it, boys. There we go. Final, you reminded me. Super Rugby Women's, Reds on Sunday. Plenty of bondies. Good luck to Zoe, Ben Rose, all the girls as well.
Yep.
Good to see. All right, that is us done and dusted for your weekend picks and preview. Hope you enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next weekend to do it all again.
Ban the sternum.